Hi everyone, welcome back to True Alchemy. So today we're going to find out what is your past life love story. This could be related to a person, or you could just pick a pile according to your own energies. So we have three piles like always. The first one is Dendritic Agate. This is the stone. Then we have a Citrine. Lastly, we have Rose Quartz for the third pile. Pause if you need a little longer, pick the one which calls your name the most, and I'm gonna begin with pile number 1. Hello, pile number 1. If you chose this Dendritic Agate, this is gonna be your reading, along with the card of ending a trauma, transform memories and symptoms. So I have designated cards, and we're gonna go by unfolding them. We have a lot to unpack. So the layout of this reading revolves around two personality types that we're going to discover. We're going to do it in the form of alphabets, personality A and personality B. So keep an open mind and see which one resonates more with your soul archetype, and subsequently you can map out the reading as to which person is you and the other person around here. Okay, so for the first personality we have the owl, and for the second we have hawk. So both of these are air signs: Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And so we have the personality types, and subsequently the shamanic healing is going to tell us about the profession. So personality A has feminine energy, and personality B has reunion of souls. Then we have psychic tarot for, okay, let's unpack this. And wow, you're gonna have to bear with me because the fast reading is it's a new layout. So I'm gonna be figuring out how to interpret the cards a little bit more patiently. Yeah, so psychic tarot is going to be how you reacted when you met each other the first time around. So for the hawk, we have choose wisely number 7. We have twice number 7 for hawk. And for the owl, we have sacral chakra as to how personality A reacted. And lastly, we have, oh wait, okay, this one's gonna come later, but this is precisely where you guys met. So it is the gem, and we have a card for how the connection developed first go. Yeah, this one. So we have observe. Okay, quite interesting. Okay, let's begin with personality type B first. So we have the hawk card over here. This is someone who's like, I'm getting the word prophet. So this is someone who was diligently dedicated to the benefit and the healing of society is what I feel. Person B over here was very involved in charity or humanitarian is what I see. This person was sort of, I'm getting like a secret society kind of a thing, where this person had a level of designation in the society, which was sort of honored to be prestige. It was seen as a very dignified profession that this person had, especially when we have the reunion of souls. This person could be a healer. I definitely get some sort of a high designation, like maybe a governmental job that this person had. Definitely there was I would say I see over here a difference in where they both came from, is what I'd say. Um, yeah, this definitely sounds like a little bit more diplomatic energy with the hawk over here. It's definitely giving me a more masculine energy. We're not precisely doing genders over here, but if that resonates, you can take that, because we can also have same sex, right? But I would say that this hawk personality exudes a more masculine energy over here. And I say that this person, when they met you, um, you can see the two birds over here, they're flying like sort of really high, and this person had a lot of I wouldn't say options per se, but this person had a lot of responsibilities. I'm also getting this person could have already been married as well. They could have already had a relationship, have a relationship which was quite established. This is someone who regarded structure in life for sure. I see that they were very diligent with their work. It seems like a very artistocrat kind of a personality, where it's like I'm definitely philosophical, but I also have a good head over my shoulder, but I don't indulge too much into fun. Like my life exists around a lot of work. I have a lot of responsibilities, and I like my life that way. And something about this person's profession relating to the prophecy kind of an energy that I pick up with the hawk is almost like bureaucracy. Maybe this person was into arbitration, could be a lawyer. Mediation, could be a psychotherapist as well. Psychiatrist, a doctor as well. There's something about healing people. It's a dedicated job that I see over here that this person inculcated themselves into, and they definitely did have a lot on their plate. And when person B met person A, they almost were very magnetized, is what I feel, with the choose wisely. But it was also a moment of confrontation for them, because it made them realize as to how dull their life has been. It's almost like a lot of things came in perspective for person B having upon met person A over here. They definitely felt like it's difficult, but they were also very confused, because they found themselves fantasizing and desiring person A, considering if they were in a marriage. Of course, person B felt very conflicted, and they had to definitely get their priorities in order, is what I'm feeling like. Definitely I do see that this person was married, so this could have been somewhere where person B felt like it's wrong. Choose wisely, to be wiser about what they're doing in their life. Concerning, we have two number sevens. This was very divinely guided. Person B felt like having met person A was very divinely guided. It was sort of like a conspiracy that the universe had laid out for them to explore, because I see that over here person A is someone who's very beautiful. They have beautiful eyes. Their facial features express a lot. Person A is quite different. There could be a cultural difference, is what I'm also picking up. I'm picking up Arabic and Egyptian vibes over here. Also a little bit of Native American. So definitely something about Arabic. I just pick up something about the deserts as well. So I see that person A traveled from somewhere far along, because where there was a factor of conspiracy with the universe, I see this as somewhere person A had not already been in the locality of person B, because person B was aware of, the people, places, things. I almost get a sense maybe this was a small town or city. I don't see this as being a very developed area or something where it was pretty old. So I'm picking up on 12th century and 16th century, also vintage British era. So something about it was very diplomatic, where I pick up a very feminine energy from person A. It doesn't have to be, it just means that they had a very feminine energy exuding through them. So I see that person A over here could have been definitely a clairvoyant. The owl is a clairvoyant, and they could have been very gorgeous, because this card speaks more about somebody being very abundant. So it could also be that person A had traveled into person B's city or locality, and I'm getting maybe like a vacation, a holiday, something that felt really fated, because it was even though the place was like a small town, it was very beautiful, because we have the gem card over here. I see this as definitely being is sort of a stable vibe. Like I get a farmy energy, or like somewhere where it's not very metropolitan or commercial. It's not very, very developed is what I see over here. And I see that there were a lot of kinds of people. This was not just a place where back in the days you were shamed or you were sort of suspected to be from a different race or culture. This was quite a hotspot, I would say, for vacations or something. And I see that person A was kind of oblivious that person B had noticed them, is what I'm picking up. Because even though we have sacral chakra and feminine energy, which I express that person A exudes a very feminine exterior and interior, person A was a very beautiful and desirable person as well, because person B felt very attracted to them, right? And I see that person A is definitely gifted. They're very abundant within themselves. They probably were pretty wealthy is what I'm seeing. And they had a very medieval kind of a dress up. I'm seeing somebody wearing like a kaftan or a lot of Sufism. So definitely there's some background about Egypt or, Arabic sort of culture I see over here. I see east to west. I'm hearing east to west, which is also described for the card of owl. So medieval medieval times. I'm also picking up something about intoxication or hookah is what I'm picking up. So maybe person A and B caught each other's eyes at a local lounge or a pub is what I'm picking up, somewhere where there was a lot of activity. The environment was quite enjoyable is what I'm picking up. And person A especially, I get an emphasis, person A is somebody that is very desirable. I'm picking up that over here. That is what caught person B's eye in the first go. Person A could also be a sort of I'm picking up a dancer, or yeah, I'm also picking up on prostitution. But for some reason it's a little conflicting, because I see I don't want to like hurt anyone's sentiments, but I see that person A was in a high did lead a high standard luxurious life. So concerning if they were a dancer or a stripper or something, it's kind of weird, because maybe they just look like it and there was a double life that person A was living, is what I'm feeling. Because there's some sort of facade that person A has exuded. It's almost like person A had skeletons in the closet, is what I'm picking up. So I would just take a moment with spirit to ask, what is the profession exactly? I'm getting dancer. There's something specific about person A being a dancer, an entertainer, is what I'm picking up over here. And what person A felt when they met or locked their gaze with person B is that person B is definitely attractive, but person A was more attracted to person B's personality and their stature in society. So person A was more likely to be, I would say, seduced by person B's power or their credibilities, is what I pick up over here. Concerning, I sense some sort of pain behind person A's story, that I feel that person A didn't have that structure, and person B having that structure made them feel instantly really safe in their presence. Like they were more attracted to the stature and structure that person A could bring into, that person B could bring into person A's life. You get the picture that I'm painting. So it's quite exotic, definitely quite cinematic, but I see this a lot about being the both of them not actually being very authentic about their lives, because I see that person B had locked away their passionate side, and person A was exuding a more luxurious life than they actually were living. So definitely there was something um, frowned upon about person A's profession, especially being a female, is what I pick up over here. There was some sort of disadvantage that I pick up on person A's end, and I feel that it was because this person had to make their livelihood. So I think person A felt a sense of superiority, yet sensitivity and sympathy towards person A's circumstances. And something about person A's personality was, I'm getting out of character for person B. That's why they had to really choose their decisions wisely as to slipping into this sort of, I'm getting quote unquote temptation, would cost them hefty in their own marriage or their relationship, is what I'm picking up. Okay, there was something tabooed and frowned upon about how these two souls, I would say, um, led their life, right? And there's got to be a circumstantial, or I'd rather say a synchronistic reason why they had this sort of cultural difference as well as a different designation in life, right? And I see that having met in a sort of lounge or a sort of a very crowded active area was also where they both locked gazes a lot of times, but they didn't speak, because I see that the relationship started as, for a very long time, as like a chase, and I don't mean in a sense that they were talking and running away from each other, but there was a lot of indirect communication, seeing each other around in public areas, or I see that person B used to visit the same place when they sort of knew that person A would be performing there or would be there. There's something definitely in disadvantage about person A, because I see person B suspiciously trying to aid person A. It's almost like the feelings that they started feeling were more on a humanitarian basis, like person B started feeling a lot of sympathy for person A's lifestyle and the way they used to earn their livelihood, where person B would start aiding to their lifestyle. So now I'm also hearing that maybe, after I'm getting a 3-4 months or 3-4 weeks after this sort of like chasing around the sort of beating around the bush, I see that when they started speaking to each other, it was because person B, a veiled person, is services in some shape or form, and there's some sort of medicine involved. So definitely person B initiated some sort of contact towards person A through a means of helping them. And I see that how this, I would say, quote unquote affair started on is by person B availing their services. Now if that is, you know, like private dances, or if that is some sort of maybe yeah, spirit is saying that there wasn't some sort of infidelity, but I definitely sense some sense of availing person A's services, maybe like you know, private dances. Yeah, I'm just picking up on that. Like person A, person B really liked to look at person A with the hawk spirit. You know, hawks all about keeping a bird's eye from the higher level, because person B still had a lot of integrity. I don't see person B being you know, somebody who is willingly stepping out of their marriage, or this could also be a case of not wanting to disobey cultural differences, the norms that society had set, because something about person B going along with person A, even if they weren't married, but I see a high possibility of marriage, is that they would feel like a sort of hypocrisy within their own stature, because this person regards, you know, the rules and regulations of society quite a lot. So I see definitely something over here about not being able to stand in your own power with person A and person B, and how this relationship started off with a lot of locking of eye from afar, and you know, catching each other in same places and just observing each other, with number 12 adds up to 3. um I see that over here there was something about finding ways to talk to each other is what I really feel. Yeah. So now we're going to get the other cards, which is going to be about how did, you know, the relationship progress, or like, so we're going to keep this aside because I feel like this, it's not the time to interpret this yet again. Just give me a moment to like place the cards. So for the tarot, we have Ace of Swords in reverse, Knight of Pentacles, Two of Wands, Six of Pentacles in reverse, King of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles in reverse, Three of Swords in reverse, Seven of Wands in reverse, the High Priestess in reverse. Knight of Wands, the Hermit in reverse, and the Three of Wands. Interesting. So we have a couple of cards. Yeah, this is the Hawk. So these are cards for how the energies were interpreted in the connection. Okay. So we have the Keepers of Light and Wisdom of Oracle as your own individual karmas, okay, what you were learning in your own life. So we have Horus, Cosmic Gateway. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful, miraculous changes are occurring. We have By the Book, makes a lot of sense for the hawk. And the archetype is what kind of energy you were bringing into the connection, right? What was your demeanor? And we have shadow and light attribute for that. So for the light attribute, we have Queen, radiates regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. I did say legal, so definitely the hawk personality could have been in some sort of legal, diplomatic, bureaucratic kind of environment or employment. And for the shadow attribute that the hawk was bringing into the connection was addiction to self-pity, martyr. Very, very interesting. I'm honestly loving this reading. It's so it's like a change of palette for me. And we have the card of, okay, hold up, I think we should get, yeah, this is much more easier. I hope it's fitting into the frame. So this is person A's karma, Mary Magdalene, teacher awakens. You have something important to share. Follow the inner call. Don't let anything stop you. Time for a nap, number 24. The attributes that person A was bringing into the connection. So we have hero, heroine, passion for a journey of personal empowerment. And shadow attribute for person A is using talent as an excuse to mistreat other, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. Okay. And this card determines whether you both actually got together or not. So I'm already getting the denotion, but definitely since we're doing a story, I would love to give you a little bit of suspense over here. So we're gonna flip that in a bit, okay? Let's talk about personal experiences, okay? With the owl spirit, I see one of the things that really comes out over here is that concerning, we developed we developed a base for how person A was leading their life, was a lot about them not, this is not in any sort of disrespect to the professions, but it's a lot about your own personal and spiritual hygiene, right? Concerning, I do understand that person A had some sort of sort of requirement, right, to sustain themselves, but I see that person A was not valuing the gifts that universe had blessed them with, excuse me. So I see that person A was acting out of a childhood wound, is what I'm picking up, that they are not of purity in a way, right? Your person over here, okay, so this could be the other person because I just said that your person, but person A over here used to sort of lead life as a starving artist. They used to sort of wait for somebody to rescue them. I get a very damsel in distress energy from person A. And considering we had the sacral chakra for person A, it's not only about how they were feeling towards person B, but it's a lot about person A not being able to stand in their own sovereignty. For me, sacral chakra is a lot more than just sexuality and seduction. So I see that person A was unable to tap into their inner reserves during this past lifetime, and they were sort of succumbed to their own, I would say, greed, or they were sort of like in a comfort with the life that they were living until I see that they met person B, because it provoked a sort of shame within them, is what I pick up. That was almost like person B would never want to be with me due to XYZ reasons, but also because I'm not somebody with credibility. Look at the profession that I lead my life with. A lot of self-pitying and sort of self-aggrandizement, like a lot of shame. Because with the sacral chakra, this can also talk about somebody who has a lot of guilt and shame for what they have been doing in life as well. So person B having met person A, definitely, this is a spiritual connection. You did obviously serve as a catalyst in each other's life, and having met person B, person A started facing a transformative phase. They went through a massive awakening. I'm hearing dark night of the soul for person A, where I see that person A was prone to doing things that weren't of their highest good, for their highest good. Person A would purposely indulge into lower vibrations and purposely go through with that profession because that's what they thought they deserved to an extent, right? And I see that they were sort of letting things stop them even when they had the inner call telling them that they are somebody of a regal stature, they are somebody to be respected. It's not just about their looks. Almost like person A has always strived in life to go with the ability of their looks because they were quite physically appealing. And with the artist, I definitely see this as, that sort of soul expressing itself through the dance, right, that we discovered before. Definitely person A is a very creative soul. I see them as having a passion for life, and I get a sense of vagabond over here. Like person A sort of had a dysfunctional family life, or they were abandoned. So it's almost like they used to just I get an energy that person A wouldn't stick around in one place for very long. And the fact that person A had visited or subtly settled down in person B's city or, area of locality really tells me that person A was someone who wouldn't stay over there for long. But I get the energy that with the Knight of Pentacles over here, now we're bleeding into the spread. So I see that person A started liking to be there because they started feeling homely around person B for some reason. It's almost like a reason to wake up is what I'm picking up over here. Okay. And whereas now we're coming to the spread, spirit is not talking about person B's karma as of now. I see that the connection over here was very superficial. Okay, it was something that was done behind closed doors, what I say. And I don't see this being sexual. I maybe person B availed person A's services for entertainment, but I don't see this going in a way where person A and B were performing infidelity, or person B was stepping out of their marriage, or person A was trying to entice person B. I definitely see that person A could have tried that, but person B would always maintain boundaries. I'd rather say maybe defenses, but definitely person B would still have a sort of a scare in their head about morality, is what I see, okay? So whereas person B, I wouldn't say was too uptight, but they were pretty stubborn, and person A would get a little more out of character is what I'm picking up, okay? And they would want to be loved by person B, but it used to come out of their own behavior in a more extorting manner. Like person A just wanted to be held by person B. I definitely get a masculine energy from person B over here. And I see that with the High Priestess in reverse, the Ace of Swords in reverse, and the Hermit in reverse with the Knight of Pentacles just upright. This really tells me that person A was operating out of more asexual energy because person A's heart was severely blocked off, whereas person B was operating more out of a mental stature. So one of the things I really see that the both of you provoked into each other, which could also be prevalent in this life. Now you might have had a good grasp upon which personality you are, but I see that the both of you have been meeting each other in different lives to provoke this sense of heart awakening. With the Three of Swords in reverse, this is a lot about, I get always a Saturn energy. For me, Three of Swords is a very beautiful card, especially when it's in reverse, because it's a lot about when you both met each other, you just pinched each other like, oh, I have a heart, and it has such flourishing feelings for the other person. I definitely see on person A's end that they thought that person B is not somebody that they love. They just have a lot of attraction to maybe their power, maybe their wealth, or maybe just their societal norms, or maybe just that person B is a really kind-hearted humanitarian personality. But I see that person A was the one who started sort of avoiding maybe person B, having seen upon the difficulties that were in the physical realm, but like XYZ reasons. Maybe person B was married, maybe person B was a different culture. It's just a sense of person A's shadow, really contradicting the feelings that they had, because they constantly tried to find reasons why things would not work out with person B. And whereas person B would always remain in their stature, person A would still try to entice person B into sexual demeanors, because that was what they felt they were worth of. And even though person A felt the inner awakening that person B can be my soulmate, can be somebody really special to me, person A did not try to take a risk about it, and person B always felt like they were on the fence about this connection, because person A used to give them sort of mixed signals. So I see that person A over here represents person B represents the King of Pentacles energy, and for me person A represents the Knight of Pentacles. Both of them have pentacle energy. Both of them were sure about each other at the back of their head, but they weren't sure how would this manifest in the reality. Now Spirit is telling me to open this card, which is the Home Earth, and I definitely picked up upon the fact that you both possibly did end up together despite the differences, because I see that person B started going through their own journey. There was a separation phase. I'm picking up a 6 month to 2-3 years separation, where maybe person A left the city or locality. Yeah, person A ran away from their feelings. Person A was the one who was running away from this connection. I'm picking up a very twin flamey vibe over here, but I see that when a person A ran away and person B was left with, this sort of void that they were fulfilling by looking at person A from afar and not really making a lot of moves. Maybe as the masculine energy, they were, I would say that person B was quite authoritative, but they were not in a healthy masculinity to make moves. So I would say that the constructive mentality that person B had was breaking away as they started feeling like person A was the light of their life, in a way, because this was the feminine energy, and the masculine energy that I'm picking up over here started feeling empty in their hearts. So this had a domino effect in person B's progress, is what I'm seeing over here. And what was really targeted was person B's ability to give their power to their life circumstances and almost be like they can help other people can do better for themselves. But when it came to person B's life, it was almost like they were always giving away their power to like physical circumstances, like they have to take care of maybe their parents, their family, their household, their children. And I see that the distance that they both share really made person B prone to think about the substance their life holds apart from just serving other people as a bureaucrat. So I see that person B's awakening was subsequent to person A's, but quite after a long time, as they got awakened to those feelings that they felt when they couldn't see person A over here. I see that with the Nine of Wands and the Two of Pentacles in reverse. This was a lot about the fact that the more distance that they spent together, I see this focus being on person B. Person B started choosing themselves. With the Three of Swords in reverse, this can definitely talk about a household that they were choosing before themselves, putting their happiness before. Because person B was a very, again, we established that very sort of a moral ethic code that they used to carry, and they used to box themselves with a lot of conditioning. So this could definitely be about cultural differences, person B not wanting to leave their family, person B thinking that they have to definitely prioritize their children's future if they had any. I could see that with the baby elephants over here. Number 11, again, a very twin flamey soulmatey kind of a number I see over here. But I definitely see this being a lot about person B awakening to the feelings that were sort of suppressed inside, which person B used to lead through just a mental stature. So I see a resilience carrying in person B, because they started using their manifestation skills, right? It's very interesting because we have this sort of Horus cosmic gateway, which is giving me the Magician, and we have the High Priestess in reverse for the person A, which is typically the feminine. And in the tarot decks, we have divine counterparts as a Magician and High Priestess. So considering that the masculine energy was awakening to its own power, I see that the feminine energy was sort of subsiding slowly into the connection. Okay, so I could see that the feminine energy over here, person A, was returning back in this connection. And of course, this is just a general interpretation. I don't see how things went back into flow with each other, but I definitely see that it would be different for every person and every storyline. But I definitely see that as soon as person A started awakening, the feminine energy, I wouldn't say exactly awakening, but it's almost like the silence and the loneliness that person B started feeling with not having person A transpired that awakening. Yeah. So I would see that initially, I think that the connection, when they both tried to be in this connection, there was an imbalance of give and take. And definitely there was a sort of mistrust between the both of them as well, which was further developing as I'm hearing cycles went by of separation and being together. I definitely see this as something being a very deep, high level or twin flame connection. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I see that the more that you both started healing your own energies, because um, person B definitely became more resilient, even though it was hurting them. It was hurting the conditioning that they brought themselves up in. And subsequently, it was the same for person A, because person A used to think really low of themselves. So what they both were individually carrying is that person A was sleeping upon their own potential, and person B in the same way was sleeping on their own potential to make shit happen for themselves, because they were too much like a martyr. They were giving away too much to other people in their own lives. I definitely see that you both did come together after completing certain karmic cycles. Yeah, so we have cards before we conclude your reading, pile number one, about what karma are you carrying in this lifetime. Now, if you picked it for a certain person, this could be prevalent in your own connection right now, or this could be just you. So take how that resonates. So we have divine feminine number 16, a lot about respecting yourself, I see over here. And we have authenticity number 10, and 7 blessings of Eve. So I definitely see that with the number 16 and 7. 16 reduces to 7 yet again. 7 is a very prominent number, so this is definitely a very divine connection, divine counterparts. That definitely, I'm hearing from spirit that you have higher resilience, courage, and strength within you, that you both, your soul likes to exercise in reincarnations in sort of lineages or family dynamics where it's very controversial, and it's sort of it sort of practices the elasticity of your resilience. It's almost like you both have a lot of strength, and you purposely manifest, of course, as respective divine counterparts, but in societal conditions which are very contradictory to human nature as how they have built their structure around it, right? So it's almost like, in your present lives, or especially just you, be flexible with what I'm interpreting. Okay, it's almost like you and your counterpart purposely take birth in different cultural differences or age gaps. Yeah, I pick up that person A was definitely maybe 10 years younger. There was the feminine energy was definitely quite younger than the masculine that I pick up over here, person B. So there is, big societal differences that you come together to break those constructed beliefs that people have. And with the 7 blessings of Eve, this is a lot about manifestation. I see with the Kundalini awakening over here, a beautiful card. This is a lot about, with the snake, a lot of transformation. And the snake is traveling from a sort of whirlpool, which gives me the matrix. So you take birth in very constructed societies, and then your soul awakens. You both meet each other at certain points, and you both push each other to listen to your own divine feminine, internal feminine, which helps you break these norms and sort of rise from the ashes, is what I see. Helps you become more authentic within yourself. Whether always the sort of, what I'd say, the motive is not to end up together, even though I see that you both did end up together. I think that the motive that you both very proudly share on a soulful level is to break these societal norms. I definitely see that happening over here. And especially, it's really interesting how the cards just laid out is, with the person B, we have the authenticity card nearby, and with person A, we have divine feminine, which definitely tells me that person A sort of started respecting themselves even more, and person B started living a more authentic life rather than having a sort of egoic measure that they had built around their own personality, right? So this is a lot about the karma that you're still carrying in this life. Is, take however which personality resonates more with you, and you understand with your story or whatever you're struggling with as of now. Is it with authenticity or with respecting yourself? It could also be both, but I see this being the definitive theme over here in your connection. The karma that you're still carrying in this life is just being true to yourself. All right. So pile number one, this is your reading. I'm going to conclude it here. I really do hope that you enjoyed this. I definitely did. If you did, please do hit the like button, subscribe for more, hit the bell icon so you know whenever I upload next. Let me know down in the comment section how that resonated, and I'm going to see you guys in another one. Bye. Hello, pile number 2. If you chose this beautiful citrine along with the card of self-creation, be the author of your own life. So we're going to keep this aside. Just before we begin, I would like to say that we have the format for today in 2 personality types, A and B. We have specific cards for each detail in the reading. And I would definitely recommend to keep an open mind until the end of the reading so you can determine which personality type was more according to also the karma that you resemble with in this life. Okay, so we have the first personality type as number B on my right hand side, which is represented by the tarantula. This is a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and person A is represented by the swan. Okay, this is a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. I see in the middle, the archetype represents where you guys met or possibly how you met in a past life, and this is represented by the destroyer. Okay. I definitely see that before we start describing the personality types, because we have for profession as well as a possible genders. I see that how you guys both met is something I'm picking up as maybe a workplace situation. I also pick up a same sex connection over here, and one of the things that really calls me is that with the destroyer, you both met after a significant relationship ending in your lives or something really ending. I don't see a place specifically, because in pile number 1 we had a place and it can vary, right? But this is a circumstantial sort of prospectus that we have, that you both met after a significant ending in your life. Now that could be after a relationship ending, something very prominent ended in your life. Okay, we're gonna see how that unfolds. So this is the card in middle as to how the connection was explored between the both of you initially having met upon. So we have it represented by the card Teach. I see a lot of observation on both ends. Okay, with number 5, a lot of changes. Definitely this connection came in at a place in your both of your lives where you weren't stable. I see that, and I get a rookie energy, a rookie spiritual energy, where you both were pretty egotistical, and I don't mean in a sense where pride was prevalent. I definitely see a lot of pride on the tarantula side, but I see ego in the sphere of a lot of matrix withholding you. I pick up on Egyptian vibes. I'm also getting Indian. I'm also getting African, American. Is something very specific about Egyptian roots. I'm hearing goddess Isis. Yeah. So for profession, for tarantula, we have past, present, future. I'm hearing mediator, moderator, some sort of commercial profession or designation. I see something maybe in banking or finances, something very related to commercial, something related to money, something that's governmental. I see over here. I'm getting the 15th and 16th century. I'm also picking up on Europe, Eastern Europe, as well as some significance about Paris, France. Definitely something very prevalent about Europe. And a very farmy energy is what I get. So the feelings that tarantula person B had when they met person A is 7 of wands, stand your ground. So a lot of defensiveness on person B's end, this masculine energy I pick up. It doesn't have to be a masculine gender, but represented by a masculine energy. I see that person B over here was very stuck with their past, with whatever they broke free from. This could also be somewhere where they were still energetically caught up with that heartbreak. I see a lot of karmic residual in person B's life emerging through over here, where person B has been on a couple of lifetimes journey. I'm seeing a decades. I see person B being elder to person A. Person A could be in their mid-20s, person B being in closer to their 30s, or I pick up on a 7 to I would say 5 to 10 years ranging gap. Yeah, there's something a little prominent in your age gaps, okay? The masculine energy is elder than the feminine energy. Whereas I feel that the masculine energy, person B, was very attracted to person A, and they sort of portrayed it that they didn't even notice person A over here because they were defensive. They didn't want to let know person A how much they found them visually appealing. I sense a lot of sacral chakra energy, despite this being fire sign. I see that this masculine's heart, person B, their energy was more sexual because they were not in tap with their heart sphere. Okay, the heart chakra was blocked, and I'm facing difficulty in describing person B's energy because their throat chakra is also blocked. This person with the tarantula, when the tarantula is out of balance, it's always about not listening to your intuition, over intellectualizing concepts. So the tarantula is a perpetual overthinker. With the past, present, future, number 4 and 7, I see that this person could, you know, embody a lot of earthy energy, like being very stuck in their ways. And I don't mean it in stuck in their ways where they're purposely like rigid or stubborn, but they're more ridden to their comfort zone, is what I see with the tarantula. Even though, you know, tarantulas are domesticated pets for certain people, they look really scary. So person B at first came across very scary to person A. Person A felt threatened by them as well. Person A is very empathetic. I see person A being quite spiritual, and I think that person A was going through a spiritual awakening, and person B was coming out of a bad relationship or a marriage. I see something that's temporary, not a marriage. That was a theme in the previous pile. So I see this being somewhere as a personal development taking place, where I would say person A was a little ahead in their spiritual journey because they were being introspective, reflective. I get a very hermit energy from person A, whereas person B was still wary of their, you know, environment. They would purposely try to project this image of being scary to create an atmosphere of threat, whereas person B was actually quite a homebody. So I see in this pile you would be quicker to understand what energy you are, because I'm hearing from spirit that you are pretty similar in this lifetime as well, and circumstances might be also pretty similar in this lifetime if you're specifically watching this reading for a specific person. Okay. Regardless, I see that person A was very intrigued by person B's personality, because at some form they could see something underlying in person B's sort of like aura or their atmospherical sphere. They could sense that person B is hurt and person A wanted to help them. So there was a sort of mothering energy that person A exuded to person B, and that is all the more reason why person B felt threatened by person A's energy. And we have the 7 of Wands, where person B came off very standoffish. So the relationship where you both maybe communicated or spoke to each other, I'm also getting schoolmates. So I see that this connection took place pretty early in your lives, and it also could have in this life, doesn't have to be, but something where you both knew each other since a long time, or you were friends before but you never really got to know each other, is what I'm picking up. So I see that over here with the 7 of Wands, person person B was particularly not focused on person A because they did not like the feelings person A provoked in them, which were quite loving, and it forced them to look at their shadow side, which was fulfilled with the defenses towards especially the criteria of love. So I see that this relationship or this connection started off as maybe a friendship or a platonic relationship, where person A was mainly a teacher. Like both of them, your relationship started off as teaching each other about the triggers that you were facing, you were getting activated to, rather than conveying it, because these emotions were felt on a distance. You were not together, but you recognize that this person is making me making me feel some way which I don't like, specifically for person B over here. For person A, there was a resonance of something spiritual or something very homely taking place for person B, because person A immediately felt a sort of rescuer energy for person B, where person A wanted to help person B with their pain. So both of them emerging from a place of pain. I see an anxious attachment style in person A and an avoidant attachment style with person B over here. um yeah, I spirit is saying don't jump the gun. So I get an energy that person A was pretty quick, or they wanted things to evolve pretty quick, whereas person B was quite avoidant at their first meetings, or how the relationship progressed at first is person B was quite defensive and almost to an extent in denial about their feelings for them. So for person A over here, their profession, psychic development. Okay, we have two swans and wisdom. I would say that person A was specifically, we have two fires. Okay, we have triple fires and then 4 and 7. So I would say that the progress of this connection was I wouldn't say it was derailed or delayed. It was going according to divine plan, because this is a very divine connection. um, but I definitely see that person A was someone who used their gifts to earn their livelihood, especially with their introspective skills. I see person A being very emotionally equipped, highly intelligent, very blessed with ancient knowledge. This is again, I think I would relate this card with the hermit energy that I picked up in the beginning. And I see this as being somewhere where person A sort of recognized their past in person B, and that's why they had this sort of motherly energy, despite their gender, to nurture person B. They felt a calling towards person B. And the swan with the reflective sign over here can definitely talk about them feeling like person B is, some shape or form like them, or in their past they were like this and they wanted to help them with their own internal results. I definitely see person A being very enthusiastic about person B, but somewhere, they always felt a little rejected by person B, because person B used to reject the whole idea of this fiasco, is what I'm hearing. So person B did not believe something was actually destined to happen over here in this connection, whereas person A was more keen on exploration. I definitely see that. But person B was locked, guarded, and they always pushed away the potential, or the thought of even embracing person A as their own. They always rejected the idea of person A being their partner. And I pick up this coming from a place of worthiness, lack of feeling worthy, and this was mirrored back in person A, as person A used to constantly try to convince person B, even if energetically, to be with them, because somewhere shape or form person A also felt rejected by person B. So very heavy mirroring energies. Definitely the swan is a totem for I would say maybe twin flame or soulmate energy over here. Yeah, so we're gonna get the other cards now. Okay, to see how the energies progressed or the connection per se. So We have the Hermit, 10 of Swords, 7 of Swords, 7 of Wands in reverse, the Hierophant in reverse, the Lovers in reverse, the Queen of Swords, and the 8 of Wands in reverse. Okay. I have a specific card which determines whether you guys ended up together or not. So we're going to open that in a bit. So these are the energies of personal karma that you were resolving in your own lives. And so for that, we have the card of hope, love, and acceptance. Love is yours. Recognize your divine worth and choose loving thoughts. So the Swan, and we have TikTok as well. Okay. And the way the Swan was showing up in the connection, we have light and shadow attribute. We'll open that in a bit. Whereas for the Tarantula, the personal karma that they were resolving in that lifetime could also be bleeding in this lifetime. I definitely hear that. Charity, prayer and contemplation. Connect with heaven. Ask and you shall receive. And we have To the Sea, number 7. So the connection, the energy that the person B was bringing in this connection is represented by the light attribute of lover, great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. And the shadow attribute that they were bringing is acting innocent to angelic to mislead others, falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. Okay, so we're going to talk about this first because I'm not feeling guided to talk about person A's attributes. Because person A's journey is precisely being triggered. I see that the connection was very on and off, or let's just say I don't even see a connection taking place or a relationship forming in this pile, because there was a lack of commitment or consistency on person A's end is what I'm picking up over here. Person A could not give in to this connection, and person A also had some sort of time sensitivity to the connection. It's almost like person A was pretty decisive about what kind of romantic affairs they want to indulge in. Person A was quite introspective, and with the Queen of Swords independent. I wouldn't say person A was a comparatively codependent, but person A put their bets in the wrong place is what I'm going to say. There was a lack of discernment on person A's end, which resulted in them almost feeling like if it's worth investing so much time and effort into person B, because person B was precisely at a place in their life where they did not want to introspect into those feelings that they were feeling for person A. There was a lack of reciprocity and emotions, I feel, at most, and person B sort of like felt like a vagabond, like a wanderer. I get the energy of person B almost being like they don't know their place in the world. And I see this in person A as well, but I still see person A putting an effort in finding out who they are, but I don't see that with person B. I see that with person B, they are more frivolous with their own spirituality. I see person B being very intellectual or very fiery in nature, where they would shut down spiritual aspects. With the 7 of Swords and the 8 of Wands, I see that person B almost refuses to look beyond the veil. Person B self-sabotages because they put themselves on a pedestal is what I'm feeling. Like they don't believe in what the universe has to offer them, rather than they make judgments for themselves. And before, we picked up on the energy of Seven of Wands upright for person B, whereas person B eventually, throughout this relationship, as time passes by, they faced more lack of boundaries with themselves. It's almost like acting out that I see with person B over here. So for the card where we determine whether you guys were together or not, I see with the protection cave, you guys did not end up together with number 17 over here. Then we have 7 as well. 17 adds up to 8, which is a very karmic number. And I see that over here with 8 of Wands in reverse, the Hierophant in reverse. Definitely things ended between the both of you, because person B was unwilling to make the effort on their own spirituality, because person B was constantly trying to convince themselves somebody that they're not. They wanted to be somebody more commercial, but I'd rather say somebody more superficial, and it's almost like running away from themselves. So if so far certain things resonate with the two types of personality over here, you would know, because I see this being very prevalent in your present life as well. You would know which one is you, and if you specifically chose this for a person, because you are still doing this. So if you are inclined towards side of person A, it's almost like you try to poke the bear, in the sense where somebody is not loving you, still purposely put yourself out there and you try to convince the other person that they will change, or you have this sort of mother wound where you're like, yes, I will change the other person into loving me. Whereas it's a lot about you understanding to love yourself enough to know when to walk away. So person A has struggled with this, especially in this previous lifetime, when we see over here that person B has not provided them with the stability to actually nurture them, because the swan over here is somebody who's very emotional, they're empathetic, they're very sensitive, and they get easily hurt with other people's behavior. Whereas the tarantula is almost like, you know how it looks like a domesticated animal, people keep it as a pet, but then it also it's dangerous also. It's not exactly a domesticated animal, right? So it's almost like the tarantula over here with the angel shadow aspect is almost like proclaiming to be angelic, like, you know, you pretend to be somebody you're not. So because person B over here struggled with their own authentic self, they would sort of shapeshift and try to entice person A to stick around, because of course, you know, they felt the spiritual connection. So it's almost like person B would make false promises to person A, or mislead them, even if not that, because I don't see a connection or a relationship forming to the extent of even commitment over here. I see somewhere where person A kept on holding on to person B, where person B did not provide person A with the clarity that things would evolve, because certainly I definitely see both of them being out of balance, because person A constantly kept waiting around for person B, and person B did not show up for person A because person A did not know when to walk away and serve themselves, right? With hope, love, and acceptance. Love is yours, recognize your divine worth, choose loving thoughts. I see person A struggling with, you know, recognizing their self-worth, being somebody so intellectual, yet struggling with their self-worth, right? Not recognizing that person B is not somebody that they deserve, right? Even if that is you, this is what I see happening in a past life, where this could also be interchanged, but I definitely see a very decisive energy. There's not much ambiguous interpretation over here. Now we're going to flip the cards of what energy person A was bringing into the connection. We have femme fatale, highlights erotic energy of feminine, opens your heart when dependency is rejected. Makes a lot of sense. For the shadow attribute, offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. I definitely see person A having a sharp demeanor, person A could have misused person B's vulnerable side. Person A is someone who's introspective and also psychic, is what I pick up over here with the water energy, somebody who can see through the layers of person B. So having said that, when person A wasn't getting what they wanted from person B, person A would try to use person B's personal triggers to their own advantage. So person A probably became really brutal with their words, tried to twist their words, and I see almost like person A and being a match in shadows. Like both of them know how to bend or make the other person bend to their needs. So this was a sort of a cat and mouse chase that was going on, where both of you would poke each other instead of working on your own self, and you would want to keep each other around but not want to completely dive into your own spirituality, because even though person A was in spirituality, their energy was not quite balanced, and person B completely refused to dive deep into their spirituality because it looks scary to them in a way, because I think that person B is also pretty psychic, and I see them being a medium over here, and they have a very special connection to the divine with the prayer and contemplation. Connect with heaven, ask and you shall receive. Person B is I would say a master manipulator, and person A is someone who has misused their spiritual gifts and their abilities. So in both scenarios, I see them misusing their abilities, with the Lovers in reverse and the Seven of Wands in reverse, not having adequate amount of integrity or boundaries in your own behavior. So I sense a little bit of witchcraft or magic from person A's end. I see that person A could have become spiteful, and there's a sense of eroticism, or maybe person A knowing or trying to entice person B, luring them in because they felt person B was slipping away. So again, there's this energy of running and chasing, and despite the fact that sometimes person A would lend a helping hand, would open themselves, they would go too far where person B would keep on rejecting them and showing them that they're not reliable. Person A would still open their heart, thinking, you know how they say sometimes that if you want trust, you should be trustworthy. So person A mistook this advice in a way where they thought that they need to be more loving to call in person B, but they almost misunderstood the energies over here, where I see that person B actually needed to be left alone to do their own healing, but person A always being around just made the situation more imbalanced because they were not respected for their presence in person B's life. So I see that this connection did not prosper because there was a misuse of divine gifts and abilities on both ends, especially I'm hearing from spirit, things would have been different if person A would have taken the leap of faith to find somebody that accepts their worth and understood that they have waited long enough, because that would have transpired person B to actually work on themselves, having realized person A's deficiency in their life is what I'm picking up. But I don't see this connection actually prospering or even resolving into a relationship foremost. I see a lot of passion over here, but that's about it. I see somewhere where passion was not enough. You know how I said, like, love is not enough. I don't see that this was a case of both of them losing feelings for each other, but almost realizing that they have played too many games with each other. That was the thing that I see, that why they both left each other is because they were not willing to leave their guard down, drop their guards down and act in a divine order with their higher self. They were not connected with their higher selves, and they were too focused on protecting themselves rather than letting the other person in. So the tragedy that I see over here is that you purposely had to meet at a point where things were not going well in your lives, especially for the person B over here. And I see that this was the challenge that you also might be facing in this life. I see this being bleeding. For pile number 2, I especially see something still playing out, that karma still plays out. History, I'm hearing history repeating itself over here. So before we conclude, I have a few cards that represent what karma is playing out in this lifetime. If you chose it for a person specifically in mind, this would be the dynamic right now. Or if you chose it just for yourself without a person, then this would be in your life as well. Okay, take how it resonates. So we have a first chakra, we have curiosity number 15, and we have the card of perfume of Sophia. I see that over here with the first chakra and curiosity. Let's just remove two personality types and just take the lesson over here prevalent, okay? Because it would get really confusing for me and you to understand. What I see over here in this lifetime for you is that you try to get a decisive answer, and you're very curious about exploring this connection or a spiritual connection in your life. Where you want to explore it, you also feel secure with this person because there's a soulful resonance. This person is from your soul tribe, and you do this in a couple of lifetimes. With the perfume of Sophia, I see this a lot about being instincts. It's almost like you question your intuition, or you try to find answers at every given moment in your life, whether you want to proceed with this connection or not, or whether it's right or not, or what is good for you. And energies keep changing, right? Maybe you try to find a lot of answers through tarot cards or something like that, but the thing that I'm getting recommended over here is that you gotta take a leap of faith to find out, because you're too scared in your comfort zone. And you could possibly, yeah, we cannot take personalities over here, because this is a collective karma that I see with the both of you. Because in the previous piles it was separate, on separate ends, but I see that with the red over here internally as well with the first chakra, it's a lot about abandonment issues that you have been carrying for a couple of lifetimes. And even though you're quite intuitive, one of the things that you still abandon is your own spiritual nature. Even though you're very intrigued to know your own divinity, right? You're intrigued to know your power, but you're scared to an extent to lose those 4 key characteristics that you've put as a label on your own psyche, that this is my personality and I'm just going to remain at this level, because the more deeper I will dive, I will lose myself. But you're not actually, you're not losing anything, you're actually losing what you're not. So I just see over here for you, pile number 2, that you basically fear your own power, and it's duly because you remain stuck in your own comfort zone and you don't want to do things alone, because you're scared that you won't be followed by the crowd, or you won't have a safety net to lean upon. And one of the things I really see over here, life teaching you, which I see is still prevalent, correct me if I'm wrong, that you're still learning how to rely upon yourself. I almost hear that external security does not exist. Your home resides within you. So you want to find out about this person or this specific spiritual connection, or just about yourself, you have to dive deep in your own spirituality and trust your own instinct about certain things. All right, so pile number 2, this was your reading. I really do hope that you enjoyed this reading. I definitely did. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe for more, hit the bell icon so you know whenever I upload next. Let me know down in the comment section how that resonated, and I'm gonna see you guys in another one. Bye. Hello, pile number 2. If you choose this beautiful rose quartz along with the card of return to joy. So we have 2 personality types. I'm going to refer them as person A and B. We can see whichever fits along with your personality. Keep an open mind until the end of the reading, I would suggest, so that you understand which person was more descriptive to your soul archetype. Okay, we have particular cards that determine each and every criteria of the reading, as I did in pile number 1. So I'm going to keep this aside for a little bit more space. And so the first 2 cards we have are about the personality types, and person A is represented by the card of Lion, and person B is represented by the card of Gazelle. So both are fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So Shamanic Healing Oracle represents the professions. So for the person A, we have It's All Good, number 18. And for person B, we have Ancient Wisdom, number 34. Psychic Tarot over here determines how did you feel when you met each other for the first time, what feelings were provoked. And the Archetype over here represents where did you meet. So we have the Crone. Okay. And the feelings that were provoked in person B having met person A are the throat chakra. And for person A, we have the heart chakra. Okay. So let's begin with person B. Okay. I definitely see that person B was someone who was fragile emotionally and physically, is also what I see. I see one of the things that is really common, one of the things that is very prevalent, okay? So I said the word common. It was pre-established that person A had noticed person B before person B had noticed person A. As person B was somebody that was really aesthetically pleasing, very easy on the eyes is what I see. Whereas I also see person B somewhere being feeling like they're out of league with person A. There was some sort of inferiority and superiority complex going on over here. At first, I think when they met or when person A had noticed person B was not very aware of person A. Person B was someone who was quite flighty, I would say, who wouldn't come in the grasp of person A. And I see that person B over here was vulnerable, quite fragile, and they wouldn't stick along in one place because they didn't feel safe. And there's a measure of I wouldn't say damsel in distress, but there's definitely a tincture of not being able to take care of yourself in the physical realm. So I get a sense that person B came from a difficult family background. Even though person B is quite intuitive, I see person B being more on the feminine aspect. Okay, gender wise, I would definitely say that person A represents the masculine energy and person B represents the feminine energy. And age wise, intuitively, I'm picking up the same age almost. So I would say that you both most vividly might have had a 5-year gap, that's all. So pretty close by. But I definitely see the masculine energy being age-wise more mature. And I see the female energy at first when they met, because there's a lot that changes throughout the story. I think that the story is quite prolonged. And I see that person B over here was initially pretty young and emotionally infertile is what I'm hearing. So immature. That's why they were quite flighty. Now person B will continue with theirs. Okay, person B, when they met person A, when they noticed person A, person B felt really vulnerable. Person B was quite chatty, quite talkative, opened up about their own struggles, and it's also like it gave an idea to person A about the struggles that person B goes through. So I see that if this is in regards to some person, Person B has always been quite vulnerable, yet not very stable. Person B gets frightened really quickly. Person B is someone who is, I'd say person B is someone who's quite vocal about what they feel. So it's almost like person B could have confessed their feelings prior to person A, because person A is very observant, very sort of a person who likes to think about what they're doing, because they don't like to just give their word away. But I see that person B knew about their feelings and they acted upon it. Something about person B is quite authentic but also inauthentic. So person B was already in a phase of transformation when they met person A. And whereas when we come to person A had already gone through a significant amount of transformation in their life. And person A was somebody who used to lead by their heart. But I do not mean that they would give away their heart really easily. Whereas person B did, I pick up an energy of heart on my sleeves. I don't see that with person A. I see that person A was someone who could be in the music industry, could be an artist, could be a painter. There's a very artistry streak over here with person A over here. Definitely, person A is an artist of any kind, okay, anything you could think of. And person B over here, the profession is quite unknown, because I feel like person B still had to go through a lot to figure themselves out. I see that person B was internally suffering a lot when they met person A. I definitely see this as the feminine energy. Pile number 1 was quite ambiguous, but over here it's pretty clear. Person B was in a mourning stage from a maybe a past relationship or maybe a marriage. I'm hearing widow or abandoned. Person B had struggled a lot emotionally, and their root chakra was very disrupted. And I see that person B used to feel safe around person A because person A was quite structured in their life. But I see that person B, because they had root chakra, childhood wounds, I see that person B used to doubt the ability of being with person A because they used to feel inferior or at some disadvantage in their life. I would say that person B came from a more dysfunctional family pattern. That is not to compare, but it's a little bit more prevalent in person B's life history, where they were not allowed to voice their opinion. Person B is quite advanced spiritually. It doesn't mean that they showed up like that per se, but they're quite a wise soul. And they were sort of like, I see a divine mission for person B, initiating having met person A. Person A transpired person B's awakening, and so did person B. But subsequent changes started hitting person B quicker than it did to person A, because person B was some shape or form a little bit more, I wouldn't say out of discipline, but they didn't realize how dysfunctional their family patterns. Okay, I was about to say family dynamic was, so something definitely about person B's family dynamic. And I definitely see person B being younger. I would say maybe in their 20s, early 20s, teenage years. I'm seeing this being very prevalent over here for person B. Person A could be in their mid 30s or to the older side of 20s. This is a young couple. I would say that, but some shape or form, it's almost like person B was still a little bit more established within themselves rather than person A. Even though person A knew themselves, they did not act precisely on it. I would say that person B was, maybe I wouldn't say reckless, but to paint a better picture, person B was a little bit more reckless and they would just do whatever they felt like doing. And that is the structure that they lacked within themselves. Whereas for person A, I see that person A used to be quite fearful of change also. And a person A instantly had a passionate streak, like person B became their muse, an inspiration for their craft. I definitely see a musician or an artist or a painter, carpentry, pottery, anything, anything you name it, machinery, mechanics, anything, something that is definitely done by hand and through the channeling of spirit, because both characters over here are very passionate with the fire sign. Yet when we see where they met, there's not a definitive answer, because with the crone I see that this is definitely very divinely guided, but it's not being shown to us over here. So where you guys met is not, the story of how you met is not prevalent in pile number 2. I definitely see this as being very intuitive connection, telepathy or something like that. I see that with the ancient wisdom, person B transpired to find what profession they wanted to do, whereas person A was already acquainted with it, almost like they knew they wanted to be an artist, where I see person B still finding how they can implement the wisdom that they have. So I definitely see some sort of changes firstly taking place in person B's life, as person A, I see that person A and person B started getting to know each other instantly. There was a lot of conversations, and person A already knew that they wanted person B, whereas person B was their personality or their life was quite dismantled or dispersed. So person B at first could have already been involved with someone, or I just definitely feel like some sort of instability in their household which did not let them focus on person A, and some shape or form they felt inferior to person A. I definitely see that happening over here. Yeah, so I think we're gonna move along with this now. So let's see, what do we get. We're gonna remove these. Like we have specific cards for everything over here. We're gonna start with, so these are basically energies that you brought into the connection and your own individual karma. So these two cards are the gazelle's karma, the person B's karma, individual karma that they were solving in that lifetime. So we have white eagle, ancestral spirit, connect to your lineage, a profound family wound or pattern can be healed now. I'm picking up on a lot of narcissistic abuse just as of now. And we have milk and honey 51. So we're going to open that in a bit. For the lion, what karma they were resolving is green Tara, supreme protection. You are protected. Cords are being cut. Move beyond limitation and trust. And we have clean it up, number 21. Right. For the tarot, oh wow, we missed upon a card in between, but I think Spirit wants to get that in a bit. So we have the Hermit in reverse. Comparatively a little smaller spread from pile number 1. You have overlapping energies maybe from pile number 1. I'm being referred to that. We have the 8 of Swords in reverse, the 8 of Cups, 6 of Swords, 3 of Cups, 8 of Wands reverse, King of Wands in reverse, and the Hierophant. Okay. For the energies that person A was bringing into the connection, their shadow and light attribute. So we have the light attribute refines your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. Okay. And we have the shadow attribute induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. Interesting. For the gazelle, the person B's shadow and light attributes that they were bringing into the connection: trickster, transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. Okay, we have a lot of space over here. And the shadow attribute is virgin, fear of intimate union. Interesting. I have a card for whether you guys ended up together or not. I'm going to flip that later on. And this was the card that I was supposed to open previously, which I did not get called to, which is Confront. So we're just going to keep it over here for an extra reference. Concerning that, I did mention that when you both met, you triggered each other heavily to heal certain things. It's almost like it goes beyond than just being authentic about who you are as people. So let's talk about person A over here. So person A particularly was someone who had a lot of ego. I can see that with the Leo energy I'm picking up over here. It's a lot about egoic behavior, a lot about this superiority that person A was opposing or reflecting back on person B over here. I see that person A over here with the light attribute refines your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. It's almost like person A, I wouldn't say person A wasn't humanitarian based, but it's almost like person A was too self-focused. Like they would be more concerned about where things can help them and take them in life. So almost like what they can extract from person B. It's almost like a person A could also come from a very religious background or a very high societal standard. They might be quite wealthy. And I don't see person A supposedly having to really bend a lot of having to really bend or succumb to a lot of societal norms because they were privileged. I see person A being quite privileged. They were from a wealthy family, supported by their parents, or just very nurtured in a way, very protected with the green Tara protection. But it also came with a self-destructive pattern of sort of thinking, I get a grandeur, superiority, sort of, a grandeur complex where person A sort of did have an inflated ego, and it's almost like a delusion that was projected onto person B because person B came from a dysfunctional pattern. I see a huge lifestyle difference where person B could be quite poor and person A could be quite rich. And especially concerning person A represents a masculine energy and person B represents a feminine energy, I see this as being quite a societal conditioning transpiring over here. Even though there's a little bit of ambiguity prevalent, I still would place my bet that it was quite based on that societal norm, where the woman was seen as a damsel in distress is what I'm picking up over here. Like the feminine energy was seen by person A as a sort of a somebody at a disabled position in life. And I see that person B used to hide that. It's almost like I'm hearing kleptomaniac. Person B used to succumb to their own survival instincts, which were not very good for them because person B had not lived a life of privilege, or they were deprived of that since childhood. I see that in this connection there was a third party. Now that could be a cultural difference, or this could just be that vast you know, societal designation difference that we pick up over here of somebody being quite rich and the other one being quite poor. I definitely see that person A had a frivolous energy, person A had non-monogamous energy, perhaps thinking that it's okay to treat women whichever way they want to, and person B would give in to that. There's submission over here on person B's end to that behavior, because I see some sort of relationship definitely taking place over here where you both were very attracted to each other, and considering that this was in your early ages of your life, I see this definitely taking place where you both did give in to this connection, yet for some reason person B did not feel safe in this connection. Person B's shadow side is fear of intimate union, and considering they were already in a family where there was a lot of narcissistic abuse, I see physical abuse from the father's end over here, a lot of patriarchal abuse that person B had endured, and they feared this superiority or power being inflicted upon them by person A, considering person A was someone at a privileged level in society. I definitely get a huge difference, like almost like belonging to, you know, I wouldn't even say merchants. I'm getting like prince energy, somebody being quite privileged, and person B being somebody like a villager, or the daughter or an infant of a local shop owner or something is what I pick up. So I'm picking up on a lot of British or Native American. Definitely Native American is prevalent over here. I see a caste difference over here as well. It's almost like person A had very superior concepts about themselves. It's almost, I'm hearing purity of blood, you know, because of the caste difference. Maybe person B belonged to, it could be a tribal community or just somewhere where they were at the peripherals of the town, and person A was more, ruling the town in a way, right? They were sort of in a designation of the higher officials. I get a bratty energy from person A over here. And what actually was taking place in this connection was having met person B, person A was becoming more humble, whereas person B was healing their inferiority complex that was born through poverty conscious and victim mentality. I see victim mentality highly prevalent with person B over here. So I see a development in person B's lifestyle where person B started implementing their creative streak. Person B could be a decorator, somebody that creates things with their hands again. You both are really creative energies over here. I see that person B I almost get the sense that you both lasted for almost a good few years. I'm getting 5 to 8 years, or it could be months. I get more of an year energy, like you lasted for a few years, but this connection sort of came a pivotal point where it was a lot about how do we get this in reality. And the card which represents the ending is Darkness Moon number 7. So I don't think that you both ended up together, because I see as you both having a relationship with a lot of power dynamic, where person A possessed most power, and person A had to clean up their ego over here, had to stop feeling like a person B is of some, lower standards because they belong to a different caste than them. I'm getting purity of blood. It's almost like person A felt like they could not give in to to this connection or make this real because they thought about the offsprings that they would have and the family lineage. So I definitely pick up a third party being over here as a parental influence of person A, feeling like person B is not a fit for the family. Okay, I see with the Hermit, Eight of Swords in reverse, and the Six of Swords and the King of Wands in reverse. um being this more towards person A, I definitely sense that in the connection, person A lacked courage, because I started off in the beginning that person A had an inflated ego which was projected outwardly with a lot of shiny things, the privileges that they had. Whereas with the card 18, confront, person A, even as a grown up person, was still having a lot of childhood wounds that were preventing person A to actually take life in their hands, take the order in their hands, and to be able to clear out this sort of a mess of mentality, right? Maybe person A had to leave their privileges, their hometown. Maybe they were codependent on their family, right? I did pick up that this is I'm from spirit, a struggling artist or something, but it's not exactly struggling, because person A was not actually struggling in life. They were just struggling with their profession. They were doing really good in life, but with their profession wise, they were not very, I wouldn't say they're not goal oriented, but they had not achieved a lot on their own, so they could stand on their own 2 feet. So there was a codependency that person A had prevalent, and this was also because person A was not courageous enough to go inside within them and access their divine power. The card that we have for this pile is Return to Joy. We are here to experience joy. I get an energy of going back to the source with this pile. It's almost giving that person A, I would say person A called the shots on this connection, and they sort of left person B. And I don't see person B personally being completely innocent in this situation, because person B themselves were not okay with intimacy because of what they had been through. Person B, I would definitely say person B was I wouldn't say non-monogamous. This is not a person who would, cheat or take part in infidelity, but this person had too many guards up that they could not put down. So it's almost giving me a very witchy vibe from person B. They were quite an alchemist of their own, but I see that person A initially dropped the ball and they decided not to pursue this connection, particularly because not only they wanted to sustain themselves and not stand on their 2 feet. It definitely is a theme over here. But person A also had a superiority complex where they thought that they are sacrificing this for their family lineage, to keep the purity of blood, is what I'm really picking up over here. Person A's family had a tight grasp on them, especially I pick up a mother figure. Person A was very close to their mother, and they felt a sort of responsibility to definitely adhere to the societal norms, and especially what their parents asked for, because person A wanted sort of like, the inheritance or the sort of respect and the badges of honor that come with serving the society in a way. So person A's drawback was definitely that they, says induces in self-destructive behavior, desire to undermine others. Person A induced themselves into a martyr energy, like they made a huge sacrifice for their happiness on a spiritual connection, because they didn't feel it would fit in the society. Okay, so person A dropped the ball even though they knew the reality of the connection. Person A consciously made an effort to drop the ball on this connection, and I see that happening just because they wanted to please the society, please their parents, despite they were always interested in person B. I get a very sort of like a melancholic spirit from person A, because they made their choice by piercing their own desires, piercing their own heart. Whereas for person B, I see that person B over here, when they realize their worth, person B probably could have presented an ultimatum which made person A drop the ball, because person B quit on the situation, is what I'm picking up over here. Person B quit because they recognized that person A was not willing to commit to them as much as they wanted, and person B wanted commitment, even though person B themselves had a shadow attribute of not being able to disperse those barriers that they had because of their childhood wounds. It was also created because of the atmosphere of lack of assurity from person A. So person B, having awakened to their own power, decided not to trick themselves to the behavior or hopes of this future potential with person A. I would say that person A might have recommended a sort of I'm getting clandestine lovers, almost like, a hidden fantasy with the darkness moon, like something like person A sort of maybe offered person B to be their mistress in a way where person B refused that because they recognize their own, I'm hearing divine femininity. So person B definitely walked on their inferiority complex, where they were sort of okay in the beginning, having met person A with maybe like a partial commitment from their end, whereas I see that person A was supposedly still in their shadow, whereas person B decided to choose the reins of this connection and stop indulging with the Eight of Wands in reverse and the Three of Cups in a participation of being perhaps a mistress for person A. So this was also an egoic concept on person A's end, where they thought that they could have their cake and eat it too, right? Rely upon their codependencies, have a I would say a professional marriage, but then intimately wanting to be with person B. And I see that person A was not greedy. They wanted to provide for person B, but person B completely refused any help or involvement of person A in their life, because person B realized their self-worth and they just really wanted to be respected, because the triggerings that took place in this connection were a lot about person B definitely healing their family wounds, which were a lot about undermining your own worth and not respecting yourself, whereas person A could not cut the cords from their family. I'm hearing karmic family members. So both parties over here took birth in difficult family dynamics which were not supporting their true authentic nature. Now, given spiritual divine counterparts definitely take place in more difficult circumstances to exercise their spiritual elasticity. Okay, so the picture that I'm painting over here is a lot about how the feminine energy decided to take care of themselves by themselves. So I see that this feminine energy indulged in their own spirituality. I get a very witchy energy from this witch or warlock, whatever it is. It's just a feminine energy, but I provided you with genders so that it's easier for you to understand. I hope because we're reaching at the end, that you have been able to trace which personality type is more, because it would resemble a little bit with your present life. This reading is also bleeding from the past to present, and you pick this pile, so there's definitely going to be some resonance on which personality type or which type of karma you're still dealing with, because I see that one of the things that's really prevalent with the gazelle over here, the person B, is that they struggled with keeping themselves physically secure. Their codependency was perhaps not being able or not knowing where do they belong, and person A having a sort of egoic measure that they know where they belong, but they were actually delusional about it, a self-fulfilling prophecy. So yeah, I see this was all about it. And before we conclude pile number 3, we have these cards that determine what karma are you carrying in the present life, whether it is with a specific person that you pick this pile with or just in general. So we have 6th chakra, balance, number 12. So I say that this is a lot about balance. And we have 36 again, telepathy of terra matter. So we have a common denominator of 3 over here, and I think I picked up that before as well. We have 21 again, that reduces to 3. Gives me a lot about you both learning. We have 3 of cups again. A lot about third parties that make you feel defeated, about actually coming into a union, because you both definitely had a very telepathic bond, a lot of feeling each other. But I see that the feminine energy put a stop on it. Whereas in the present lifetime, the residual definitely prevails. I see a heavy residual in this lifetime that you're still solving, whereas the masculine energy is still struggling. The person is still struggling with clearing out the karmic template of physical realm, where it's very induced with being more concerned of their parents' approval, or what would society think, or maybe there's what's that word, religious difference or cultural difference. There's something about a very prominent difference. I wouldn't say it's definitely about age, but I definitely see this being about cultural differences. And I see this about tapping into your own intuition, because the more you heal, the more you will be able to access higher knowledge, which, especially if you resonate with the personality A, it's important for you to connect with your crown chakra, use amethyst, listen to more binaural beats, or whatever earthly elements music resonates with you, so that you can connect with your intuition. It's very important for you to receive your downloads correctly, because you doubt your intuition. And it could apply for person B as well. But for as person B, I see a lack of balance, because there was a temptation where person B was inclined to accepting the offer of reducing their worth just to be with person A. So there could be a prevalent energy of the feminine energy still accepting, or was succumbed to accepting breadcrumbs from person A, and person A not participating completely in person B's life because of fear of judgment as to what will people think, or what will precisely my parents think. Will they abandon me? All right. So pile number 3, this was your reading. I really do hope that you enjoyed it. I definitely did. If you did, please do hit the like button, subscribe for more, hit the bell icon so you know whenever I upload next. Let me know down in the comment section how that resonated, and I'm gonna see you guys in another one. Bye.